Hey guys, in this video, I'm answering the question of how can I tell if it's lack of chemistry or if I'm bored because they are safe/healthy? So, this is a really common one. If you are trying to shift your relationship patterns, you know that historically your type has been someone who is maybe unavailable, who is a bit hot and cold, who shows interest and then pulls away, who leaves you with this overall impression of uncertainty, doubt, not knowing where you stand, but you don't feel confident enough to directly raise it because you're worried you'll push them away. We all know that picture very well. And if that has been part of your story and it's something that you're trying to shift away from, there's every chance that you will encounter what this person is describing in their question, which is, how do I know if I'm not attracted to this person just because I don't feel attracted to them, like they're not my type, whatever, or if I'm not feeling that because they are safe and healthy and that's unfamiliar to me, right? So I think it's really important to acknowledge first that, like, if you've not experienced a relationship with someone who is safe and healthy and reliable and consistent and sturdy and dependable, who responds to your messages right away, who initiates contact, who never leaves you questioning where you stand, that is not going to feel as amazing as it might sound, right? You love that in theory, but you want it from the person who's unavailable, right? You want it from the person who you're always reaching for, who leaves you in that state of uncertainty. You don't want it from the healthy person who is always there and ready to give it. And so I think that's a really important thing to be, like, honest and self-responsible about, is that when someone shows up in that way, it is not going to register as the prize that your system might think it should, right? And so it's really easy to then cast that as, well, I'm just not attracted to them, when really what we have historically experienced as attraction is actually the exhilaration or the anxiety of someone showing up when we're never sure if they're going to, right? Because the person who texts you or shows up or takes you out to dinner after ignoring you for a week, like, that feels so much more rewarding for your system than the person who messages you at the same time every day and is super responsive and available. It's just a fundamentally different experience for your system than the roller coaster, right? The highs feel so much higher when they are interspersed with these rock bottom lows of not knowing where you stand and not knowing if you did something wrong and not knowing if they're losing interest in you. So don't confuse that exhilaration that you feel when someone who's unavailable or inconsistent actually does show up or give you attention. Don't confuse that with chemistry and attraction, because that is not a very reliable marker of how I want to feel in relationships. And yet there is going to be a transition period where you have to recalibrate, where you have to move away from that as the standard, that level of almost like a drug high, and realize that what is healthy and what is secure in a relationship is not going to give you that. It's going to give you something that's so much more nourishing for your system in the long run, because it doesn't come with the downside of all of that incredible anxiety, again, that I'm sure many of you watching, and certainly I, know all too well. So there is a level of self-responsibility here. In terms of knowing the difference, I think it really helps to give your system a chance to adjust. If you don't give someone a chance because you write them off as being, oh, I just don't feel a spark with them because they're really safe and healthy, you might just not be allowing your system that time to recalibrate. So if all of the other boxes are ticked, if you're really aligned, if they're kind, if you get along well, I would give it a chance. I would give it, at least a month or so to see if the attraction develops. I'm not saying attraction is irrelevant. I think it is relevant. I think you want to feel attraction towards someone that you're going to pursue a relationship with, but I do think that it can develop over time. And again, particularly if the backdrop is all of that inconsistent, unpredictable, intermittent reinforcement roller coaster as being your blueprint for what chemistry feels like, you just need to recognize that if you want to change that pattern, you need to stop seeking that pattern and being guided by that as the litmus test for how you want to feel in relationships, because that's actually the opposite of how you want to feel in relationships. So a lot of self-responsibility, a lot of honesty, and willingness to work through the discomfort and the unfamiliarity of a transition period as you change from the old way to the new way.